to Eagle and Rue. This is part 1 of the SCA headgear with ANKHARET myself. Now last time I showed you my wimple and veil ensemble, I was wearing a velvet headband, and I still have my velvet headband, but I'm finding that I'm wearing it less when I have my hair braided. Now when my hair was short, as in the previous video, which I will link below, I didn't have a lot of hair. You remember my hair was really short, and so there's not a lot of anything I could do with it to keep it up and keep it secure. But when my hair grew out and I was able to start braiding it up, I quit using the velvet headband as much. I did sometimes use my Rapunzel shaper, which also has a built-in headband. I'll just put it on real quick so you can see what it looks like. It goes on, Velcro's in the back, and you can adjust it back. And then when you put things on it, the velvet has that stick, and it goes against the grain, and all of your head stuff holds on. Again, I don't use this one as much because my hair is braided, and I have actually stuff that I can stick all of the headgear to. Okay, so we're gonna go back to, I have no velvet headband. I have my hair braided up. I'm gonna wear my cap, and my cap is decorated. And I'm not gonna go into details on that because you'll see in a previous video that I've done that. So I do the same thing. Now this time, because I have my braid on there, I actually just gently fold that over across the braid, and I do one tie in the back, and it's not tight at all. This is not tight. It's really loose. But do you see where the braid is in that cap? That fold over holds right over that braid, in front of the braid really. And so nothing, like I'm pushing back and it can't go anywhere because you have that braid in the way. Now I like my things a little lower on the forehead, mostly because I wear fringe all the time. And it looks funny to me to not have something a little lower on the head. Now, one of the things I really wanted to show you is, remember the wimple portion, which was one long piece of rectangular fabric that I used in the last video? I started sewing those closed and giving them a little bit more shape, and I love the effect. So it kind of looks like this. This one's wrinkled. But it's sewn up the backside, and there's an angle to it. And that angle actually creates what goes down back in the back, so it covers more of the back, and there's no risk of my hair showing. Or I noticed a couple summers ago I got a little bit of sunburn on the back of my neck because my veil kept getting blown out of the way, and I had the long rectangular thing and it was folded, but it wasn't laying flat in the back and it didn't cover. So I started sewing them into a tube. And again, I really like the change. So I wear it. I made the hole quite a bit bigger. So you can see it still comes down and covers the neckline of any gown that I'm gonna wear. And it goes down in the back. Hopefully I can show you this. But it goes down in the back to cover the back of the neck. So this was a really wrinkled one. So we're gonna put a freshly ironed one on. Or we're not, because that's not freshly ironed. Oh my goodness, I thought I had an ironed one here. Ah, I do. I do have a freshly ironed one. It just looks better. It also helps you see where it is when you put it on. There you go. You can tighten it depending on your hole and how long you made it. You can tighten it a little bit if you want, or keep it loose. I like mine to stay loose. And I'll measure this when I'm done, and I'll give you the video or the measurements of the coif or the wimple. Okay, so I have my wimple on. Now, there are a variety of veil choices that you can use. This is a rectangular piece of linen. You can fold it over on the top a little bit, and then that fold goes here, and you can pin. And you can pin, just like I pinned before in the previous video, I can pin here and here, and I have a short veil. It's really short. Lightweight, easy for summer, but I like this style for hot. It's lightweight and it covers everything, and it feels nice, especially if I'm going to be cooking and over a campfire, things like that, where I don't need a lot of veil that's going to flow in front and get into what I'm doing, because I'm usually too busy to pin it back, because traditionally you would pin that back. Now this one's a bigger veil. This is much bigger. It's got hand embroidery all the way around the edges. It's one of my favorites. I wear it all the time, but it is super long. It goes literally from tip to tip. This one, when I wear it, I'm not going to cook with it. So this one lays longer. You can see how it just flows down the back. But the downside is it flows forward if you're working on things. And they would sometimes, I pin it back. And I've seen some manuscripts where it looks like they've pinned that veil back. So I wear a short one when I'm going to be doing a lot of hand, like messy things. And I wear a long one for court, or if it's just a day that I'm going to wander around and visit with people, and then I don't need to be doing things. I'm going to show you some other veils. This is a poly blend fabric that I put a trim around, and I made it this weird oval shape. And I do wear it occasionally. It's not my go-to, but it's a shorter oval veil. It's more decorative. I usually wear it with blues and purples and stuff. It lays kind of in a wavy fashion because of how it's cut. So it does get give a different look. If you like that kind, that's great. You can fold it again like I did the others, give it more of the blue on top, and then the trim around the bottom. This is another one that I did years ago, and this one folds. It's kind of this weird oval shape as well. This one, I actually put a dot in the corner of the fabric where it centers really well to hang. There it is. So it's a little black Sharpie dot. Where'd it go? There it is. Little black Sharpie dot. And that tells me that is the middle of my forehead of where it hangs really nicely. And I played with this. Like I cut it kind of uneven, and I was in a rush, and I went to an event because I just needed some veils, and I was trying to, and this veil has to be 15, 20 years old. It's a silk noil, and then it's got decorative fabric around it, and it lays really heavy and nice, and I like that. You've seen me use this one. This one has gold leaf on it. And then this one, you've probably seen me wear too. There's some pictures of me in this. And this is the tail end of a sari. And so this one I wear quite a bit too. It's lightweight. The downside is that in the summertime, you would think this would be really lightweight. It gets hot because it's a poly blend fabric. It's not linen. The linen, the tiny linen one I showed you, I wear a lot in the summertime. Okay, so you can see my wimple keeps moving. It's because I haven't pinned it completely correctly. I like to pin my wimple if I'm wearing a lightweight veil, kind of underneath right there. I keep taking it off and putting it back on, so it keeps slipping. I wear this silk veil quite a bit. I have a white silk veil and a green silk veil, and I wear these quite a bit. They're square, so I fold them over on the top. And I lay them as flat as possible, and I pin them. So I pin at the top, and just like the previous video, I pin on the side, usually just one time. That's all you need. And I use all kinds of, I've got one over there. And I do pin kind of at that junction just to kind of hold everything down. And this will stay all day long. You can run in it, you can do archery, you can do anything. It's really comfortable. It stays where it's supposed to be. I use a variety of coifs. So this is another St. Brigida cap that I made. This is out of handkerchief linen. The one that I'm wearing is a little heavier weight linen. Also, my wimples are that smidge heavier weight than handkerchief linen. They hold up better, they have more coverage. This handkerchief linen, I made a gown out of, an underdress out of once, and I was wearing a short-sleeved tunic over the top of it, and the top of my arms burnt through the linen. So handkerchief linen is good for next to your skin, but probably not as a sun coverage. And this is another St. Brigida cap I made where I embroidered the edge. And this is just a straight stitch, straight back stitch. I did this in wool, silk alpaca. I've given a lot of mine away. This is silk, and this is also handkerchief linen. It's really thin. Handkerchief linen, I don't know if you can see, but my hand practically shows through it. I have quite a few, I've given quite a few away. I make them and then somebody goes, oh, I really like that, so then I give it away. I've made a whole bunch for some people. So this is the early period wimple and veil. I live in the Kingdom of Artemisia in the SCA, and we do not wear circlets or gold headgear unless you are a landed baron and baroness, court baron and baroness, or royalty, or people who have been royalty, or barons and baronesses, or, you know, so I don't have any circlets to put on. The other portion too is I'm not sure it would be comfortable. It took me a long time to find something that was comfortable for me to wear that didn't give me headaches. So none of this that I'm wearing is heavy. It's not restricting. It's not pulling on anything. There's no tension. So I'm not going to get a tension headache, which is really nice. Thank you for watching part 3, and check out part 4 coming soon. And please subscribe to my channel.